Hello, welcome to the Roseville Parks and Recreation Adult Softball Online Managers Meeting. This 15-minute video is designed to provide you with the necessary league information for the summer 2019 season to ensure that you and your team get the most out of your season here in Roseville. First, we want to thank you for choosing to play your summer softball here with the City of Roseville. We understand that you may have many softball options throughout the metro area, and we appreciate that you've chosen to play with us. We have more than 140 teams spread over 6 nights of play and are excited with all that we have to offer. The goal of our leagues is to provide a safe, well-organized, sportsmanly, fun, and fair atmosphere to participants of all backgrounds and skill level. All policies and procedures here in this league are made with that goal in mind. First off, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Harper, and I am a recreation supervisor in charge of softball here at Roseville. I can be reached by either email or phone with any questions or concerns that you may have. My primary method of communication with managers will be by email. If you do not use email, please let me know as soon as possible so that I know I need to contact you by phone or other means if any changes are made. The league website is cityofroseville.com/softball. Your softball schedules will be linked on that site or can be visited directly at teamsideline.com/RPR. League schedules will be posted by Friday, April 12th. Any schedule changes that are made will be posted on the league page. Additionally, if any changes are made, managers will be emailed to inform you of that change. In addition, the league pages indicate updated standings and results for each game. We do encourage managers to check back often to let us know if there are any scores entered incorrectly so we can make sure that we keep that accurate for the tabs on the league. Games are scheduled to begin Monday, April 22nd and each subsequent day, weather pending. For example, Tuesday games will begin April 23rd, Wednesday games will begin April 24th, and so on. Each league will have a playoff for the top 8 teams. Brackets will be posted on the league page following the final game of the season. Managers will be emailed a blank roster form, but can also be found on the league schedule page or on our softball league page. All teams are required to provide a roster prior to their first game. Rosters must include all players that you intend to use in your team at any point during the season. Substitute players will be allowed during the regular season, but only rostered players may be used during the playoffs. When selecting substitutions, please consider the skill level of your league. Teams who do not submit a roster will in fact forfeit a game if they are protested against. If games are in question, please contact our weather website that can be found on our league or schedule page, or call the weather hotline at or after 4:30 p.m. Play or no play decisions will be based on the status of the fields as of 4:15, not based upon any forecasted conditions or projections. There have been several situations in the past in which forecasts have been wrong, where 100% rain was projected but skies indeed cleared and games would be able to be played. If conditions prior to 4:30 dictate that the fields are unplayable, we will make every effort to update the weather website as early as possible to let you know if games will be canceled. Should conditions change after 4:30, the umpires on site will make the final play or no play decision based on the conditions of their field. In the event of after-hour cancellations, we will attempt to update the weather hotline as soon as possible, but cannot do so until we receive confirmation that all fields have been canceled for the night. Should rain occur, up to 2 weeks of rainouts will be rescheduled. Please remember that game time is the time listed on your schedule, and teams should be prepared and ready to play at that time. A 10-minute grace period will be allowed for the 6 p.m. games, but that 10 minutes will be removed from your total time. Teams should make all efforts to be ready to play at 6 p.m. A 5-minute grace period will be allowed for all other game times. But remember, that 5 minutes will be deducted from your total playing time. Once a team has 8 players present, they must begin and cannot wait for the 9th or 10th players to arrive. Games will be 7 innings long, with no new innings set to begin after 55 minutes of the scheduled start time. Please remember, if you must forfeit your game, please contact your opponent as well as our office by phone as soon as possible. Nobody likes to show up for a game and not have a team to play. However, we do encourage teams to make every effort to field the team for each game, so teams can continue to receive the same number of games. If your team is looking for additional players or subs, please contact me in which I can provide you with a list of free agent contacts. Game balls for the entire season will be distributed at your first game. Managers will be given a package of softballs containing 1 game ball per home game. Managers must bring a ball for each of their home games. If a home team fails to provide a new ball, they will begin the game behind 3-0. Visiting teams should also be prepared to provide one used ball in the event the primary ball is hit out of play. For playoff games, umpires will have used balls ready at the field. Teams will also be provided a scorebook at their first game. More information will be provided about that during later slides. Please remember, in accordance with statewide USSSA standards, all non-wood bats must have the new USSSA stamp on them. The old text will not be accepted. Only the new stamp that is permanently stamped on the bat will be accepted. Bats must also be non-altered and comply with USSSA Rule Number 2. Umpires will be instructed to check all bats prior to the first game of the season. Teams will be provided a scorebook prior to their first game. Each team is expected to keep book for each game. At the conclusion of each half inning, please confer with the umpire and the other scorekeeper to ensure that all three parties have the same score. In the event of a discrepancy, if it is caught at the end of a half inning, it should be easy to compare books and correctly assess the correct score. However, if errors are allowed to persist, it is often difficult to go back 2, 3, or 4 innings to correct them. So please be certain to check with the umpire and the opposing scorekeeper at the end of each half inning. Primary focus of all Roseville leagues should be fun. Teams are expected to utilize good sportsmanship at all times towards their opponents, the umpire, and their own teammates. As managers, please prevent your team from getting into trash talk with the other team or arguing with the umpire. Remember, you're the leader out there. Please remember that the focus of these games should be fun and recreational. All umpires officiating in the city of Roseville are expected to be USSSA certified. Additionally, the city has implemented a Roseville-only umpires meeting to discuss local rules and its expectations for umpires. Teams may reasonably expect umpires to be on time, behave professionally, to hustle, and to briefly discuss a call with a manager if he or she approaches in a respectful manner after time has been granted. Please note, it is unreasonable of teams to expect umpires to get every call correct, to know every single rule of the large USSSA rulebook inside and out, to tolerate frequent complaints or verbal abuse, to tolerate comments about the umpire's integrity or that are personal in nature, and it is unreasonable to expect an umpire to tolerate complaints about balls and strikes. Overall, judgment calls are not open to dispute. Teams must learn to live with the fact that umpires will make calls that they will not agree with and must move on with the game. When dealing with umpires, please keep the following items in mind. First, only team managers and players involved may discuss a call with an umpire and only after time has been granted by that umpire. Discussions must be respectful. No shouting or gesturing or profanity will be tolerated. After the umpire has given his or her explanation, the manager must return to their position or dugout immediately. Please note, the rulebook interpretations may be formally protested in accordance with Roseville Parks and Recreation rules as found in the rulebook, but judgment calls are indeed final and not open for protest. The following actions will result in warning or immediate ejection if observed by an umpire. Please prevent players on your team from engaging any of the following actions. Continuous complaints about judgment calls. Any player besides the manager leaving their position to argue a call. Shouting at an umpire. Use of profanity. Use of personal statements towards an umpire. Threats or taunting any player, spectator, or umpire. Continuing a behavior after receiving a warning. Per league rules, any player ejected from a game will serve a 1-game suspension or possibly more depending on the severity of the situation. Roseville leagues are continuously looking to improve our umpire evaluations program. That being said, managers will be sent an umpire evaluation on 1 or 2 dates throughout the season. The evaluations will be asking you to evaluate one of the umpires during your games. Please evaluate the umpire based on their professionalism, hustle, rule knowledge, and game management. Please do not base your evaluation upon the outcome of the game or whether or not you felt judgment calls were ruled for or against your favor. If you have an exceptionally good or bad experience with an umpire, feel free to fill out our umpire evaluations form, which is located on the league's website. Please remind your team to clean out your dugout and dugout areas before you leave for the night. Please ensure that no bottles or other items are left behind in your dugouts. Additionally, please be respectful of the neighbors and pedestrians who walk through the parks. Make sure your team is not using profanity or doing anything else that may make residents feel uncomfortable. Finally, please note that city ordinance prohibits the use of alcohol and tobacco in Roseville parks. Although there has been multiple Roseville revisions to the USSSA rulebook, here are a few we would like to highlight. First, the home run limits. The men's C division has a maximum of 4 home runs and plays with the +1 rule, which was implemented in 2016. Please note, only the C division will use this +1 rule. Men's D has 2 home runs. Co-Rec C has 2 home runs. Co-Rec D allows no home runs, with the exception to the short field at Central Park Lexington Northwest. Teams are allowed 1 home run. Please note, any home run beyond the limit will only be 1 out, which differs from the USSSA rule. All leagues will use a 3-ball, 2-strike count with no courtesy foul. This means that if a player has 1 strike against them and hits a foul ball, they will be out. Players are not permitted to dig into the batter's box by kicking dirt out of the way as they come into the box. However, players may kick dirt around to even out the spot where they are batting in, essentially filling the holes that were made by not digging into the batter's box. No metal spikes will be permitted in our leagues. A courtesy runner will be limited to 1 courtesy runner per inning. The courtesy runner will be the last person to be put out. Double play situations. In an effort to prevent injury, Roseville has clarified the double play rule. All runners must either slide legally or attempt to get out of the way of a fielder turning to complete the double play. For a slide to be legal, players must remain on the ground and slide directly toward the base. The image that is being shown in this slide would be considered legal in Major League Baseball, but considered illegal in our league as the runner is not going directly toward the base and his right leg is elevated and not on the ground. This would be ruled an out for both the runner sliding and the runner at first base, granting the double play regardless of where the shortstop's throw ended up. Additionally, we have implemented a prohibition on hitting the ball back towards the pitcher intentionally in an effort to intimidate the pitcher. This can also be referred to as lighting up or buzzing the pitcher. If an umpire is confident that a team is intentionally hitting the ball at the pitcher, they are instructed to warn, then eject the offender. This is a dangerous situation that can lead to severe injury or even death. Please do not allow members of your team to intentionally hit the ball back up the middle in an effort to intimidate the pitcher. Please note the new rule regarding the use of radios before, during, and after game times. Radios are not permitted on benches during official game time. Teams may play appropriate music during warm-ups only. Please avoid blasting or blaring music that may have profanity or be inappropriate. Please take time to review all local league rules and share with your players. Reminder, any rule not listed in our local rules will follow the USSSA rulebook. Similar to last year, we hope to have an evening field supervisor available during league nights to monitor fields, provide extra first aid supplies, and when needed, to answer any questions you may have. At the conclusion of the season, each regular season and playoff champion will receive championship t-shirts and their choice of a trophy or a restaurant gift card. I will be contacting each manager who is entitled to prizes following the conclusion of the season to obtain their sizes and determine which award they would like. Please remember that we want this league to be well organized and safe, with an emphasis on sportsmanship. Managers, I ask you to please be leaders on this and encourage your teams to follow suit. Keep these games in perspective. Yes, competition is important, but we want all participants to be safe and have fun above all else. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns throughout the entirety of the season. Finally, I thank you once again for choosing Roseville for your summer softball league. I wish everyone a fun and safe season, best of luck, and I hope to see many of you out there on the fields. Thank you.